Let's get this going. Willie P. Per normal. Let's just start with you.
What's going on, Christian? How are you?
Good, Will. Thank you. You?
I'm fantastic. What can you tell us about the availability of Enzo, Camille, rather, and the rest of the injured quartet we have this week?
You were about to say Karen, right?
I said Carol instead of Carolyn, but either way.
Anyway, I think again this game. It feels that we are playing on a daily basis now, but I think it just comes a little bit too early for Camille and Enzo, so they are not going to be in the squad in this for this game. But but very close to have back Mackenzie and Ben, so that's the good news. One thing at a time, Will. But again, our focus is on players that they are available and here for us. Is I want to put the focus on what we have, not what we don't have.
What is Justin Meram like away from the pitch with this squad? I mean, we've seen the impact that he's made on the pitch, but I'm wondering, with this condensed level of games, how much is his maturity and experience bringing to this squad?
I think he becomes a Justin Meram press conference every week. I already said many times that for me, Justin, as well as a player that brings the quality that I like in that position, he's a very, very good character that help us to help the changing room with his experience, especially in the league. So I can only repeat what I said. I count a lot on him. He knows that's why I keep pushing him. And sometimes we have frank discussions already because I think he can give even more than what he thinks he can give. So it's my duty in my position to push him, and just as I do with the other ones, and maybe more because of his experience and because of his ability and what he can bring, or because of his leadership. So from him, like from other players, as I said in the past, the Carol, the Enzo, the Ashley, Kalina, from these guys, Guzman, I only expect more than I would expect from the other ones. So Justin goes in that category. So that tells you how much I rate him and how much I think he's important for us.
How much have you counted on your midfield? You know, Derek, Ashley, and Brandt. I feel like the way that you've looked at your midfield, you've thought that maybe Carroll could be that central attacking midfielder. He's had to push forward, obviously, and that's forced all three of them onto the pitch. What has it been like seeing those three grow in chemistry and just continue to be solid, making sure that they are not only disruptors, but creators as well?
Exactly, Will. We need to have those guys that they can do everything, especially the 8 and the 10. And in the last game where Brandt and Ash, given the emergency that we have, and this is the beauty of having a player like Carol that can be a number 9. He has done that with different characteristics from Enzo, from different characteristics, even in his national team, where obviously Lewandowski played that role with the different characteristics, and Carol can play underneath. But Carol has been playing number 9 in the past. He can do that role, and that allows us to play a midfield that at the moment, give us experience, give us relative experience. Obviously, experience in the more general sense with Ashley, given his background as a player in Premier League. But Brandt and DJ featured a lot with me, so they are getting this kind of experience for our club. And I think that they are playing their role pretty well. But again, like you say, Will, they have to be able to do this double role defensively to give us solidity, and then offensively to give us penetration and the ability to create opportunities and to finish them off as well.
And lastly, from me, you said after the game on Saturday that you don't want to be kind of hanging on for dear life at the end of these games. You want to be more aggressive. How fine of a line is that when you obviously do not want to concede, but you want to seek out all 3 points, yet you also want to stay on the front foot as much as you possibly can? making sure that your team is not having to survive in the fashion that it has in certain contests this season.
But this is the growl that every coach is trying to find, you know, that you create and play with the ball and you don't concede chances and you don't concede too many possibilities to the opposition. It's difficult because if you stay low and deep, you think you are more solid defensively, and then you can go on counterattack. If you stay up, but you don't create so many. But if you stay up and then you don't, you're not so careful in transitions, then you risk to play, and then the opposition score. I remember in the last game against Galaxy to go out there and against, for me, what is a very, very good team still, full of strong individuals, and with a coach that you have to respect for what he has done in the MLS. I think that we had the vast majority of the chances, but the first shot on target is them when we make a mistake and they can go on counter-attack, and they shot, and then Kale make a save, and then we conceded the corner. So this is the balance of playing and creating, and at the same time not conceding. So we want to stay true to our identity, because also when we play and create, like it happens in the last game in Los Angeles, we ended up having a clean sheet as well. Of course, they had their own chances, but this is part of a football game that you also concede that. But the idea is to minimize what the opposition can do.
Thank you. Good luck this week.
Thank you, Will.
Okay, Sam, you're up.
Coach, speaking of availability, how will Carroll's availability be affected by the international call-up?
Carroll, which one?
Yeah,
Yes, Swiderski.
No, it doesn't affect his availability. Why, Sam?
The team announced it on Facebook today, so I just wanted to confirm he was available for Philly and the rest of the games this week.
Yeah, of course, because the international break will be after Seattle. So I don't. Yeah, he's been announced, but he will play. He will be an integral part of our squad, of our starting 11. So we count on Carroll. Carroll is happy to play and to be our one of our strikers. So if anything, congratulations to him to get again into the national team. But I thought he cemented his place in the last game where he scored as well. So, and he has a good record with his national team, so that doesn't surprise us. If anything, make us proud. And also the MLS, because, you know, people, sometimes I hear people that they are not so respectful, in my opinion, as they should be with MLS. It's a league in which there are many players that it doesn't certainly hinder their possibility to go to the national teams. If anything, actually, he maximized that more so than people think. If you look only at the Polish squad, the Buksa, Frankowski, that they were here with New England, Chicago, they still play for the national team. They play in big clubs in Europe. Carroll is the same. He played for Charlotte, but he's in the national team, starting. So I don't think that there are. It's, if anything, for us, we are proud of that. And the MLS should be proud to have this kind of players that represent big national teams as a league.
So one of the things that was striking about LA was it was Kalina's first clean sheet since being back. It was only the team's second clean sheet so far this year. In terms of everything from, you know, being able to win games and goal difference, how are you and the goalkeeping staff working with the keepers to try and tighten, and the defense, of course, to tighten that up and get more clean sheets as we go down through the season?
Sam, I think when we defend together. When I mean together, I mean starting with Carroll. So starting with the number or with Enzo. So the defensive duties is everybody concerned. Likewise, when we attack, we start our attack with Christian, with Kalina. And so I think it's a collective thing. I said to the boys on many occasions that the success that this team can have is linked to the way we defend. The better we defend, but when I mean defending as high as possible, not to be defending deep. Obviously, there are moments in the game in which you cannot defend the higher, and then the opposition play through you, so you have to defend maybe in the mid block, and moments in which you have to defend in the box. Like it happens in every game for every team. So ideally, we want to defend in our box the least as possible. But when we do, I think we have to be ready. But the key of our success this season or not, I can tell you here, because I say this to the players, is linked to the way we defend as a team. So, of course, what you say, but it's not only concern the goalkeeper, it concerns the strikers, the midfielders, the defenders, everyone, and then the goalkeeper, of course. But the way we defend as a team is linked on the way how far we can go in the competitions in which we are.
Thank you. And finally, you touched on this a little with Will's questions, but given that Justin and Harrison were both on the 20-man team of the match day for MLS this week, and that you've seen amazing contributions from Justin since coming on, I believe 3 assists and only 5 starts.
So Sam, we should thank him or we should thank us? What do you think?
No. The question is,
by the way, you start thinking that he's making us a favor. It's a God gift. Stop that. I think I think he also has to thank Charlotte FC.
Oh well, that's what I'm getting to. That's what
But he has done really well. He's done really well. I'm joking. So we are so happy to have them both, Ari and Justin. Yes, of course.
But earlier in the season, in a lot of these press conferences, you talked about how in some ways you were playing a waiting game with injuries to get experience on the field. Now experience has been on the field. It's really shown. You've won 4 of the last 5 games. How has that experience and leadership, transformed the team's fortunes?
Sam, it is important. It is important. We have a squad that has a lot of young players at the moment, and we are happy to do that as a club. As we said, we have to do that. We have to build that. But at the same time, you cannot buy experience. You cannot buy that kind of being settled or comfortable in difficult situations that experienced players might bring. And when I was saying this at the beginning of season, is because as a coaching staff, we were working hard. We were doing the things that we do now, but we cannot be on the pitch. And the boys will learn by making mistakes, like everybody in life, not just in football. I said this already. How do you learn? You learn as a human beings by making mistakes. And the experienced players, obviously, because they've been in this situation, can help, not just to make less mistakes themselves, but also to give the right word at the right time when they're on the pitch. And so I think that their contribution is immense, and it can show. Then after, we have to grow up as a squad. We have to improve in everything that we do, but to have them, and we are still waiting to get Guzman back. And it was for us, it was important to have him on the bench at least. It's going to give us something more.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, Carol, we'll finish with you.
Last but not least, hey Christian, do you know what time zone you're in? You holding up okay?
I'm not sure. I thought.
How do you balance getting legs some rest and getting prepared? Are you at the point where you just let them take as much time off as you can?
A bit of both. I mean, we did a lot of video because you can still train tactically by watching things and by seeing what we prepared against LA Galaxy, what they did well, what we didn't do so well, and also analyzing as much as we can the next opponent. So I think the coaching staff does a good job, and the analysts, they do a good job in making sure that we are up to date. I watched the game as well, and we confront our ideas on how to approach game by game. And on the pitch, the same. We don't do so much, but I'm not prepared to compromise about the intensity. I still want us, even if we don't go 100% physically, to train 100% mentally and under pressure. Sometimes I'm sure that the boys don't like that, but for me, is paramount and is non-negotiable that we need to train under pressure, because it's a way of having the right attitude all the time. And even if we only do 50% physically, but the mental intensity has to be there, especially against the team that we're going to face tomorrow, that we know that they are pretty intense and pretty fighty as an 11. So, and I have a lot of respect for what Jim Curtin has done at Philadelphia. So I think that they have to be ready for the challenge, and you don't get ready by relaxing. You get ready by being intense. Then there is time to relax, Carol. We've spent plenty of time on the planes.
Yes.
Speaking
of
when they are on the pitch, no. When they are on the pitch, they have to be intense with me. Otherwise, we have some strong words.
Speaking of your staff, I was curious what you think of Fuchs' development as a coach. Has it been a natural thing, or are you having to whip him into shape? You know, how's he been doing?
I said to them, half jokingly, half not, that I have more problems to manage the staff than to manage the players. Players are easier than the staff.
Is he a prima donna or something?
They are wonderful. I think that they are really good. And you asked me about Christian. Christian has been absolutely sensational. He's very humble in his approach. He's very detailed. After all, you know, he's very experienced player. He's Austrian, but you know, they tend to be very analytical, which I like. And no, I think Chris has been great. And I think I said it in the past. I keep saying I think he will be a very, very good coach, not in the far future, but in the very soon he will be a very, very good coach. And Charlotte, you know, is very lucky to have a guy like that working for the club. I have no doubt about it. But I knew from early doors that he was a guy that came with the right mentality. He wanted to come here to, first of all, he wanted to come to MLS. He wanted to give 100% on a daily basis, and you cannot ask for more than that.
Great. And one last thing, the last two games, and it might be more, you've had that hybrid fullback midfield thing working with Jalen, Lindsay, I think one game, and Harry one game. Has it been more? And I'm also curious if that's something that you're doing because of personnel, because of tactics of who you're playing, because they've had a year experience playing for you, they're ready for it. You know, what has gone into it?
Carol, a bit of everything. We have a clear way of playing that we want to develop, and we need to have certain plays in certain position to allow us to then to have more passing lanes and more passing possibilities, and then in order to attack with more players. So the players that I choose to do that role is the one that they convince me more. You always have to find the balance, Carol, between how you defend, because you might have a player that is great to do something in one phase, but then in the other phase you struggle, and or vice versa. Somebody that is really good in defending, for example, when he has to step up and play, he's a little bit less confident, especially if I ask him to play in midfield. So it's to find that balance for me is important. Obviously, we know each other more. I know what they can offer, and this to find this balance with the personnel. Obviously, the squad is improving, and but we still, as I said in the past, these guys needs a little bit of help from the front office, but we need to move on. And I think that both Ari and Jalen play the role really well. But they have my own trust, and they know that.
And also, I guess the other three backs have your trust if you're leaving a little bit more defensive responsibility on them.
Exactly. Again, is this balance that you need to have between supporting the play and be able to play when you have to switch the point of attack and to be able to face transition and counterattacks. This is very important, and this is the game that we need to always have in mind. When we have the ball, it's the moment that when we can be in danger to be counteracted, because at the moment we are thinking of creating, and so to find the balance between the players that we have is always something that is in my mind, in the coaching staff mind, so we can maximize our offensive options without losing in defensive transitions.
Great. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you, Carol.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up there. We have a plan to catch everyone. Thanks.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time.
Thanks.